Thank you guys so much for being here. My name is Mickey Hardy. I'm the president and chairman of the Arcadia Group, joined by some industry tycoons, as we were just discussing in the back room, and gonna keep it pretty casual. Gonna ask probably some contrarian questions, some stuff people don't really ask, and get into the nitty gritty. And so I actually just wanted to let everyone run through, introduce themselves super quick, and then we'll just go ahead and dive in. So we'll just make our way down right here.
So hi everyone, my name is Sergey Kunz, I'm co-founder of 1inch. 1inch is a decentralized exchange aggregator and marketplace for best execution of orders in decentralized manner. To my background, I'm software engineer, software architect.
Hi everyone, I'm Gracie Chen, I'm CEO of BigToGet. We started off in 2018, and today if you look at CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, we are one of the top 5 centralized exchanges, together with these guys.
Yes, my name is Panelists. I'm the Global Chief Commercial Officer in OKX. I've been joining OKX for like 8 years since the beginning of the day. I'm to serve as multiple board within OKX regulated entity.
Yeah. Hey guys, good to see you. My name is Oliver Stauber. I used to be a qualified lawyer before and general counsel of a huge European-based crypto exchange. And nowadays I'm heading the European operations as the CEO of KuCoin for Europe and building a compliant business there.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. So for context, here's where this question's coming from. I run a marketing firm, and we work with 5 to 7 projects max. All of them are listed on exchanges like you guys have, and I know we probably have a lot of people in the crowd, maybe founders, people who are trying to get their projects listed. Everyone's always texting you all day, when listing, how to get a listing. And you run a decentralized exchange, these guys, centralized exchange. Let's work our way down here. When you are doing a partnership with a project and when you guys are listing projects, you want new users and you want volume. So what metrics, what tools do you use to decide these things?
I would like maybe to start. First of all, I don't run decentralized exchange. I'm core contributor and co-founder of ecosystem where people can exchange in non-custody manner atomically assets across multiple blockchains. So, and in this environment, we have a process, a team, also a lawyer team, we have foundation, we have a DAO, we have our 1inch labs. What takes care that only those tokens get listed, what are compliant, I would say, based on the policy. So, of course, we need to avoid some securities and some other assets. But in general, by using our protocols, anyone can just trade whatever they want, yeah, with whom they want. So, for example, institutionals can choose specific market makers, and then they can just trade with them. So, by using our marketplace approach, so we are more tech than a centralized venue for trading. So you can use it as a technology. You can use it as a DeFi user to interact with all the liquidity sources that are out there, like Uniswap and other liquidity protocols.
For us, it's probably 3 metrics. The first one is fundamentals. We want to look at the team, what are they doing, who backed them up, what they did before in terms of launching a token, things like that. So fundamentals of their business and their team. The second metrics is trading volume. As you mentioned, exchanges want to onboard tokens that give us more users and more volume. So if certain tokens are already launched on DEXs, we look at the DEX trading volume, how many wallets are holding it. So basically, how popular this token is in terms of the trading activities. And the third matrix we look at is socials. So we do have our research team digging into each account in terms of their Twitter, Discord, Telegram, even WeChat. And we want to see how popular it is. And when I say digging, it doesn't mean we'll just take the numbers for granted, because we all know how easy it is to buy a Twitter follower if they are not real followers. So we want to make sure we look at the engagement, whether it's real or not, and indeed find the gems out of millions of tokens today to find the best ones to launch at our platform.
Awesome.
Yeah, for OKX, I think a key word is solid and robust. The keyword, I think when you're working in a blockchain-based project, either you're building something pioneer in this type of technologies, or either something great product, or either something you have great communities. So based on this particular matrix, you get the sense that whether you're building something solid. The second one is obviously, as Gracie said, is the liquidity concern, because when we decide listing, the second question come to us is whether we're going to list on the spot, whether you accept as a collateral of the exchanges, or whether you can be the underlying of certain derivatives. So all kind of matrix will be determined by your liquidity, the real liquidity across all kind of network.
Yeah, maybe as the former lawyer here on the panel, I may add to the dear colleagues a more regulatory view to this topic when it comes to listing. So for you guys that are may interested in listing your projects and tokens on a European regulated exchange or broker, there is this new law and regulation called MiCA, Markets in Crypto Asset Regulation, and this also provides, for example, for having an asset listing policy. Yeah, so we need to comply also with this asset listing rules, which means that, for example, every token and every project we want to list, they need to have a white paper, which is kind of small capital markets prospectus, telling everybody something about the team, about the project, the token itself, the tokenomics. For sure, we as KuCoin, we are very much looking for partners, not for problems. You know, we don't into the next rug pull. So this is also where this regulation is stemming from, that we as an exchange or broker are very much responsible also for our users, you know. We are managing risks at the end of the day, not only for ourselves, like reputational risk, but also the financial risk for our users' assets, as well as the legal and compliance risks. So maybe if you're interested more in that topic, happy to talk about it later on, more about it.
No, yeah, let's talk about it. So I'm from the US. We're, relatively a small country, like 5% of the world's population, but we're the consumers of the world, right? We make up like 60% of global spending. So it's like it's a hidden gem. And I think, let's be honest, with the prior administrations, the SEC that's ever changing, it's quite the climate, and it's honestly a double-edged sword, especially for crypto companies. So I'm curious, running an exchange in this regulatory environment, how do you manage that? How do you manage trying to tap into the liquidity of the US market while also kind of, you're operating in a gray area? They tell you do one thing, then they'll switch on you in a dot, and then maybe it ends up in some fines. Gracie, you want to take this one?
This one does, okay. So we were actually, before entering the stage, we were discussing like how much these two gentlemen and their company paid to the US because of like the fines. Luckily, we don't have that. Since 2022, we exited the whole US market already. We don't even want to work with US influencers, and we don't have any US employees. I look at so many tenants every day, and lots of people come to us to join Biget. The first thing I ask them is, do you have a US passport? And if you do, sorry, we can't recruit you. And I think this is actually not very healthy, honestly. With Donald Trump become the new president, I'm sure lots of things changed, and that's why probably why US OKX, for example, started to enter the market again. But for us, we're still struggling, and we want to make this decision very, very cautiously and make it right. Because once you enter the US market, you need to think about, first of all, how to build all those great walls among compliance, how to get all the licenses. It's not just 1 or 2 licenses you need to get. You need to get license in each state that you are operating in the US. And then that's just the legal and cost part. And then there's also how do you compete with certain other peers, for example, Coinbase, Kraken, who operated a lot in the market, and then some other offshore exchanges for their US business. So it's a very hard decision, and I haven't decided yet whether we are entering the US market and how we are doing that. But basically, we still want to see more clarity from the regulators.
Okay. Lennox, you want to give your take here? I know you guys...
It's a painful experience. And,
pricey one too, right?
A painful experience for 5 years. We entered US market for build a US team, development team for 5 years. We have a brand in US, and we canceled the brand, and we got a lot of different kind of issue, investigation across the board in US. And right now we are relaunching OKX US. We got stage license, basically almost every state except New York big license at the moment. I think we are happy in general that U.S. is still driving the entire regulatory space. They're leading a lot of things. Bitcoin ETF, commerce like ETF, physical delivery ETF. Even the fact that they don't have an exact crypto licensing framework as in other countries at the moment, but at least they got a direction. Previously we call it enforcement by regulations, or regulated by enforcement. That's scary to all the participants, market participants, and all the innovators ahead. But right now, after the Trump administration gave us a lot more visibility, so I think we can say the worst time is past, hopefully.
So I mean, like, just to double click on that, OKX was fined $500 million. You think that the administration change is enough, like light at the end of the tunnel for you guys?
It's settled. It's settled. It's basically talking about whether or not. I think the settlement is mostly related to about whether or not we have any kind of activities related to the U.S. customers. We mostly, not directly, but indirectly, we mostly. And basically, we have our own arguments. We ban U.S. customer from day one, but we also have an argument, and they also have arguments. And finally, we've come to the point that let's settle and finish everything, and we need to do business. So that's basically it. Yeah.
Does the former lawyer on the stage want to give his takes?
Yeah, for sure. So having been in this industry now for more than 10 years already, I can say the only constant, like in many other industries as well, is change. So you always, as an exchange as well, need to be very agile and react to these changing regulations as well. You know, in the very beginning, when I advised my clients as a lawyer, there was no regulation at all. It was wild, wild west. We could do what we want, more or less. However, as a lawyer, you want to have some rules and regulations to advise your customers that they are on the safe side. And this is something I maybe want to add to this discussion, because everything what we need to have from our customers is trust, you know. And you can only build trust on the one hand side if you try to fulfill all these rules and regulations and be compliant. However, as my dear colleagues already said, even it's quite hard to fulfill all these rules and regulations, and especially, for example, in Europe, you try to do that, and then the next day the other ones turn around and say, no, you didn't do it right, although you already, like, OKX guys received the license, you know, and that makes it quite hard for us as market players as well to adopt to all these rules and regulation. However, we need to do so to be able to serve our customers. For us as KuCoin, trust is one of the most important pillars when it comes to customers. So we not only try to fulfill all these rules and regulations when it comes to law, but we also try to build a very secure and reliable platform when it comes to trading and dealing with our customers' assets. And this, at the end, is everything what the regulators care when they do rules and regulations. They always think of how to have the customers' assets safe and secure, and that there be no hacks, no scams, not any other things, and hold us as the CEOs more or less reliable on that topics.
Okay, cool. You want to give your take here?
So it's a little bit different at 1inch and also similar projects. We are not operating with the Web3 front end, with the Web3 application interface in US. There are still some concerns. So of course the regulators are now more open for adopting the blockchain technology. We see it with World Liberty Finance playing out with different protocols. So we are on a different level. So you guys are regional setup. You are closed, local setup. You need to
Yes.
Build something for each country. Yep. We are building technology. We are the early days internet, what someone can use, adopt, or can still continue use telegraph and telephone for communication. Yeah. So the idea is, the special strategy on our side is, we build a tech, we build cross-chain, we integrate different chains, we combine all liquidity of DeFi, what is now distributed among a lot of chains, Solana, Sui, Ton, and Ethereum, all layer 2s, by using tech, and if someone wants to use it, they can use it. We have a lot of business partners who operate around the globe, of course not in sanctioned countries, and use our tech to serve their own customers. So this is our strategy, and if someone wants to use a Web3 interface of 1inch network, they can, but not right now from US. What we were able to do in the US is to run our 1inch non-custody wallet. So you can just use non-custody solution, you can store your crypto, you can move your crypto, you can use our partners for buying crypto, yeah, so who are also regulated. We have our 1inch debit card, what can be used also in Europe and very soon also in US, so you can pay with crypto, but we use partners for this, you know. I don't want to do this thing with like the drop with the licenses, and I don't want to adopt to the old system, because they need to adapt to us. So like we have the new internet, yeah, and if they will not adapt it, then they will stay behind. Yeah, they will disappear one day.
Yeah, I want to add that we actually explain the same thing. I mean, to the regulators. I mean, in terms of as some of the product for example, like OKX wallet. It is a technological layer. We merely pass through orders and instruction and technological message to another open source protocol. And we receive multiple feedback, just sharing. We receive multiple different kind of feedback. Some agree with our approach, which the wallet's side is basically a technological layer, open source, self-custody. There's no custody of the asset, but something that some regulator might think that we are kind of like providing a brokerage service or dealer service, indirectly or directly, even from a technological perspective. Something that we act as indirect solicitations for different kind of open source system that's considered licensed activities. So, to my point of view is education to the regulator is really crucial. You need to step ahead that even with doing this, what kind of risks that we involve.
So I'm very happy to have yours, our partner, OKX, with whom we are working. We offer also our technology to OKX, and OKX use a lot of energy to work with regulators, and this is kind of our strategy from 1inch, just to like let other people who can do it better than
Thank
us.
you.
Okay, awesome. So I kind of want to segment this. We talked about the stuff on the institutional regulatory side. I want to get into some more like maybe fun things. A lot of people don't ask you guys since I have you here. We manage 550 of crypto's biggest influencers. So we know that perception to everyone in the public is probably quite different than what life is actually like, right? And there's so many entrepreneurs here, so many people who are founding companies, raising capital. So we'll start with Oliver and work back. But as a CEO of a major exchange and crypto company, like give us the day-to-day. Like what does it look like? People see you up here speaking, panels, this, that, but like tell us the nitty-gritty. Like what is it like?
Oh, so maybe I start as the newest appointed CEO here. So the huge difference is for sure the responsibility you take on as a CEO. I always say the CEO stands for Chief Everything Officer. You know, you're responsible for everything. And also, you are maybe a thought leader. You should be a thought leader. You should lead by example, not only for the market, for example, to get trust and earn trust from the market, but also from all these authorities, for example. And still, and this is the most important thing, also from your team, you know, so to build the best-in-class team that you need to be successful in this business as well, you should also be a trusted leader at the beginning. And at the end of the day, it's 24/7. And you're a firefighter, you know. When something goes wrong, you're the one that needs to be there to try to solve the issues. And yeah, but sometimes it's also fun being on such a nice panel and talk about the business and the markets. So yeah, it's also part of our business, I guess.
Cool. Well, difficult question, but my daily life is more like I think of myself as trying to empower different kind of internal colleagues to work smoothly and have bigger platform for them to perform. So I spend most of my time to trying to become the lubricants for different kind of local CEO and work with other departments. So I spend, if you ask me what's the major time I spend, first, airports. The second one is meeting local team and understand their problem and trying to solve in a more humanity and people way.
For me, I'm actually not just a CEO, I'm also a single mother who has a 6-year-old son, lives with me. And
Wow.
having that life is quite interesting, and I do need to find that balance. So when it goes to work, I realize there are so many things that I don't need to do. So I guess the key thing is to identify the most important 20% of the things that I have to do, which creates like 80% of the effect. And I found those things as a CEO to be find strategy, find money, find the right people. So when we have the right people, especially in various departments who can lead their team, they actually make much better decisions than I do. And today, I typically will just let them do the decision. I will just look at the results. We review the results every quarterly and see how that goes, and if this works or not, how to make adjustment to that. And if the person is not right, we'll just fire him or her and find the right person. So it's a very cruel game. Some people say we have this kind of wolf spirit at Biget, which I agree. But back to your question, I don't think as a CEO we are that busy, but we do need to focus on things that create the most effect and efficiency.
So just to click on that, I heard there's some law out there that's like if you take an organization's total headcount, let's say it's like 100 employees, and you take the square root, so of 100 it would be 10, they account for 50% of the productivity. That means like a very tightly knit culture group of the company is contributing to the majority of the gains. Like, do you agree when you're managing your team?
Maybe not, because my team is still quite small, and everyone is one of these 10 guys that do everything and are responsible for everything. However, yeah, there is for sure in larger organizations, like for a global business, maybe that kind of rule, but I would even say it's more 80-20. I was very much agreeing with Gracie that focus is very, very important, and you need to find the things and the decisions, the 20% that really count to be successful, and that's the same maybe also with the team. However, you need all these guys to be successful still because they work together, they collaborate together, and as long as you make them feel the same vision, the same strategy, the same goal for success, I guess you can even have a higher percentage of contributors to your success.
Interesting. Well, when I was asking this in backstage, the person who had the most interesting response was you. You were like, I don't do anything. So you want to explain?
No, I don't want to be responsible for everything, that's what I said. I'm not CEO, so 1inch is a setup of a huge amount of core contributors. We have 167 people around the globe. It's always a mess in terms of communication because people are fully distributed around the globe. We try to focus our 1inch labs, part of the 1inch labs here in Dubai. We have here an office where we work together and where we call it hackathons. So what I personally do, I try to keep our culture, to maintain our culture, with what we started. We started with doing hackathons. I and my co-founder Anton Bukov, we started to travel around the globe, built on every hackathon something new. We participated in like 13 months on 17 hackathons around the globe. And this time I was living, I think, in the office because I had like no other places. But it was really fun to just be kind of broke but discovering the world, yeah, to build something, to innovate something, to learn a lot of things, and we try to maintain it. So it's very important to work with these people, to communicate with them, to hire right people into the structures what we have, or just to let the people contribute into the DAO directly. They get grants also directly. So talents are very important. So what you said, I fully agree. It makes fun to work with talents, right? So talent, I have a guy, he was like managing building companies, like construction companies. Okay. And this guy was that smart, he was onboarded in 1 month by himself. So they touched everything, they asked everyone, collected all the information, and is one of the best performers right now here at 1inch, and helping with all the communication structures. So, and in terms of also what I do as well, I do research, for sure. We need to look how we can improve. I use always common sense. What makes sense to build right now? What is needed right now in the market? For example, we came with the cross-chain solution. It was a mess. A lot of different bridges, highly unsecure, terrible user experience, and we just built it. And we built it in hackathon mode. So last Solana release, what we released 3 days ago, we built in 30 days. The plan was to build it over 1 year. So I had to organize all the leads together, find out what are the plans for the next 30 days, and was trying to pitch, guys, we can do it in 30 days. They selected special force people, and like a special force, they came to Dubai in 30 days with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, place to sleep. They delivered in 30 days, and I'm very, very proud about my team, and I'm happy to participate here as core contributor.
Well, cool. So, in closing, you guys see everything. You see the politics of crypto. You see the market makers, the VCs. A lot of people say you kind of have to like hate the game, not the players. So we have 37 seconds left. I want one hot take that a lot of people don't agree with you on, and give you a second to think about it. But what's like a contrarian take that you would say if you said out loud, people kind of like raise their eyebrow? But it's true at the end of the day. You guys see a lot, so I feel like you probably have some opinions. 15 seconds, 5 seconds each person. Who wants to start?
I don't think we can finish in 5 seconds each person, but I'll start.
Okay.
So I think, okay, this is a sentence I really love, which is people tend to underestimate the long-term potential and overestimate the short-term potential. I say this sentence to myself a lot. Basically, just keep doing on the right thing. The result will come. And within this past few days, I got asked about Bitcoin price prediction around a lot, and I think I'll just throw that here. In the long term, I think, for example, 10 years, Bitcoin can potentially reach 1 million. In the short term, probably this year, my personal take, no financial advice, is probably only 120K, at least all-time high, but
Okay.
not that much.
Okay, great. Who's next?
Maybe first.
5 seconds.
Let's go all over.
You can spend 20.
I put it in a nutshell. Crypto is here to stay, and it's going to shape the future of finance. And I'm an absolute believer in that. So we will see very interesting things coming up still with crypto, blockchain technology, and finance developing also from TradeFi to crypto. So guys, stay tuned, and looking forward to meet you all later on and do some projects with you together.
Awesome. 2 more super quickly, then we got to bounce. Who wants to go? Lennox?
We recently launched a product called OKX Pay. I think we are heading to the real mass adoption of crypto, starting from this year.
All right, super quick. You got one?
I found out recently one thing. When you do something and you do it like without extra effort, you will not get huge success. When you do
Go
a
all
little
in.
bit effort, then you will also not get huge success. But when you always trying and keep doing something, you will get at least 30 times more out of it compared
100%.
to what you do like Chile, sitting
100%.
on a couch.
Well, thank you guys so much. Give it up for the guests, please.
Thank you.